We've all been there. You get stressed, panic sets in, and you make a terrible decision you instantly regret. Now imagine you are a world-class math prodigy, someone who sees the universe in pure numbers. You'd think that kind of brain would be immune to panic, but Jim Simons fell into the exact same trap. To be clear, Jim's intellect was staggering. He sailed through MIT and earned his PhD from Berkeley by the age of 23. He even worked as a codebreaker during the Cold War, finding hidden messages buried inside messy, chaotic data. Cracking encrypted government secrets is one thing, but the emotional roller coaster of making and losing money is a different beast entirely. At age 40, Jim decided to try his hand at trading. He did what everyone else did. He read the news, guessed where the economy was going, and followed his gut. The problem is that the stock market is essentially an engine designed to trigger human anxiety. Every minute, prices jump and dive, sparking our deepest fight-or-flight instincts, and Jim broke under that pressure. When his stocks dropped, fear took over, and he sold at the exact wrong moment. When trades went well, greed kicked in, and he took reckless risks. For 10 agonizing years, he repeatedly lost millions of dollars of his own money, and his investors' money too. He learned a painful truth. It doesn't matter how brilliant your mind is. If your human ego and your emotions are making the decisions, you are going to lose. Jim realized that the human brain simply cannot handle the intense, overwhelming stress of unpredictable, chaotic financial markets. So he made a radical choice. He stopped hiring Wall Street insiders and banned traditional business experts from his firm. Instead, he filled his office with astrophysicists, cryptographers, and pure mathematicians. This new team ignored the news. They didn't care why a company's stock moved. They only looked for hidden, repeating statistical patterns buried inside market data. By treating global finance like a giant math puzzle to decode, they completely bypassed human guessing. They built the Medallion Fund, relying on automated, incredibly fast algorithms. Think of it as rapid-fire trading, where a computer processes thousands of tiny details in the blink of an eye. The system made hundreds of thousands of tiny trades daily, balancing perfectly to remain stable in any market. It only needed to be right 51% of the time. By applying leverage to multiply these microscopic wins, the profits scaled into billions. But for this machine to work, Jim had to enforce one absolute rule: no human interference. Once the algorithm started, nobody was allowed to override it, regardless of market crashes or how scared the team felt. By entirely removing the human hand from the steering wheel, Jim finally escaped the emotional trap that had tormented him for a decade. The results speak for themselves. The fund averaged a staggering 66% return every single year before fees. Looking at this chart comparing annual growth, you can see how that return rate towers over the standard market and easily outpaces even the most famous long-term investors. Over its lifespan, this emotionless machine generated more than $100 billion in pure trading profit. The man who spent his 40s panicked and losing money had become the most successful data-driven investor in history. All of this wealth was only possible because a certified genius accepted his own limits and stepped out of the way. But while an algorithm can perfectly navigate the chaos of the financial markets, it offers zero protection against the harsh realities of life. Jim faced unimaginable heartbreak. In 2 separate tragic accidents, he lost 2 of his beloved sons, Paul and Nick. Grief like that can permanently break a person. But Jim channeled his deep sorrow into monumental, structured philanthropy. To honor Nick's passion for humanitarian work, Jim established an institute to completely revitalize rural healthcare across Nepal. They poured massive resources into training local healthcare workers and building clinics for people who desperately needed care, while also funding major global research into autism. Jim Simons solved the market, but his real strength lay in understanding human frailty, overcoming his own limits, and using his success to bring healing to the world.